we've got the most exciting turn in the game, I think.
Absolutely. So I think we will just start with the biggest war, the most interesting war, which is the war between the elves and the birds.
A lot of big battles
Here they
here
are.
this game.
Let's see how these battles went.
So this is Eriu stepping onto a Caelum fort.
Yeah. So if you remember last time, they did some air elemental drops, and I was like, why didn't they just use their mages? And why aren't they thugging them? But wait, what is this? These are thugged bean cides. I don't
It's very
understand.
confusing because Eriu has like genuinely great cavalry thugs, and
Yeah,
and
and then it dawns on me. Oh, this is some moss body bullshit.
yeah, oh my god.
So there is a contingent of people in the Reddit Dominions community who really love moss body, and they think it's the best thing ever. Problem with moss body is it's great, and you can see these thugs are not taking any damage. But if only there was a way to deal damage that didn't depend on any sort of protection that you could do through, and if only it was in fact the only tech Caelum basically has at this stage in the game. Oh no, what is it? Is it maybe it's waiting a single bird
Uh
away?
oh, uh
Oh
oh, they've been
no,
scattered.
no, oh no. See, the twist fate shield is good, but as soon as you break that twist fate, the moss body, the glamour is broken and just absolutely
I
decimated.
mean, they take
It's
a long
awful.
time to go down, but when they're spread out and getting bounced
Yeah,
around,
so
like,
until your moss body wears out. So this is the one that's lived the longest, right? Because until your moss body wears off, you're not going to take any damage. And they have a shield of fate, which means they twist fate every turn. So you actually the only thing that can damage them is the trample. So you need to actually have something else break the twist fate, and then have the trample break the moss body. But it does eventually happen. I think maybe is it good? I don't know actually what ends up killing these guys. This guy.
I think the other one goes down to crossbows. I don't know about this one. I think it routes
Oh
and
yeah, the
then
Hoberg
gets
crossbow.
surrounded or something.
Oh, it just got hit. Yeah. So moss body's really good for a lot of situations. But I would say that this ability of trample to like knock you around a bunch, and then obviously mass crossbow will eventually break your moss body, at which point you will die.
Yeah, it just got shot to death. So
It was a
it
fun
was a
tech.
it was a cute tactic, but I think, and this is a
It was
running
cute.
theme. You know, Ariu's strategies were great until they ran into air elementals, which was like the single thing we were absolutely guaranteed to see from Caleb.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. Let's look at the second battle in this war. Okay, so this is a big battle. So we have the bog beasts coming out. We've got natural rain. We've got a bunch of guys on this side. We've got a bunch of guys on this
Fewer
side.
guys on this
We've
side,
got
but I think
we've got the mages with their two air gems. The classic sort of mages. We got the Freshavi.
there's a that water spirit thing is a thug. Not a good thug, but it's some sort of
Uh,
counter air elemental thug, maybe.
yeah, it looks like the problem with these like no shield builds is that it's not a repel build. So you have a length one weapon, so you're not going to repel
It's
anything.
gonna get absolutely wrecked if it gets into melee at all. Yeah.
Yeah, because 20 defense and no shield is not enough to protect you from just elves.
Yep.
So we got a lot of stuff that goes down here. We got a howl.
So we saw sort of the storm power and the air elementals coming out on Caleb. Can we pause and go to Eriu?
Yeah, so air elementals came out, storm power came out. So Eriu decided to pull out howl, and they also put out mist, which just gives lower precision, which is I guess fine because they're expecting their opponent to do a lot of thunder strikes. Makes sense. They've also got a behemoth back here. Behemoth, of course, really good against air elementals because it will just sit and eat air elementals shots all day. It doesn't actually have shock resist. Maybe they're going to give it though.
Oh, you should turn. Wait. Turn on
Oh
grids,
yeah, sorry.
or not
Yeah,
grids.
yeah.
The colors, because we've got air elementals from both sides.
All
I
right,
think the area made
okay.
just one single air elemental, which is really
What's that?
unfortunate. And when I look at this battle, I see a lot of N1s from Eriu and somehow zero casts of Swarm, which is shocking. No pun intended.
Yeah, so Eriu brought a app. What are these colors? So we've got blue and yeah. So Eriu brought a whole lot of Nature One mages to this fight, but they didn't. And I know last time we talked about, hey, when you're faced with a ton of Caelum stuff, even especially elementals, a great thing to do is just throw down Swarm because it gunks up the works with useless chaff, and actually they have enough attack density. They will in fact kill elementals during Storm, which is difficult to do because they have 20 defense in Storm, right? But of course, if you're being attacked by 60 bugs, you will
your defense will go down, and
Yeah.
then an elf or something can hit it
Yeah.
and do real damage.
But actually, now you have these, you have these air elementals now in these like with these elites, who are now they're chewing up the elites, right?
I mean,
They're chewing up
they're not doing a
they're
lot
chewing up
of
the
damage
bog
back there,
beasts.
but the stuff out in front is getting shredded by the birds, and
Yeah, and the point of these bog beasts is to get in the line and poison them so they die, so that they HP are out, right? That's the point of
I
these
mean,
bog beasts. But
I
they're
think it would have been better to use the bug beasts as Evo bait, and we can see they are
well,
baiting some.
yeah, yeah. So they have two rules. One, they're Evo baits, great, and two, if the birds land on them, they'll die of
Right,
poison,
right.
right? But the problem is they're being blocked by these air elementals who do not die to poison, and they don't die to whatever the hell these bog beasts are playing.
Right.
So they're just kind of sitting there being useless, and actually they're going to be HP
Oh, and here
anchors
come the
for
thunder strikes.
yeah. And here come
Oh,
the thunder
ouch.
strikes. Yeah, it didn't HP out, and one of the problems is that bog beasts are not good HP anchors, HP baits, because they've got 33 hit points in one square. Well, what else has 33 hit points in one square? Elves have
39. These guys.
Yeah. So these are not going to Evo bait.
Yeah, it's tricky. It felt like Eriu expected more birds to come in than actually did, and sort of bundled up a little too hard, and then sort of got hit by the thunder strikes. I mean, I do
I don't
think
know
if I were Caelum, I would maybe have summoned a few more air elementals, but the thunder strikes are doing work, so I can't blame them.
Sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, we talked last time, especially they should have had those 2 gem guys with 3 gems, but this was. I think if Eriu had cast Swarm in this battle, they would have like if they
could have cast they could have cast Swarm 25 times easily.
Yeah, especially because they have Spell Singers. So Spell Singer and ones are these guys, right? These Spell Singer and ones are so incredible at throwing out swarms because they have lower fatigue, so they can put out 5-6 swarms in a battle if you give them 6 gems. Yeah, so Eriu just didn't have the stuff. The air elementals,
the mages
the bog
didn't
beasts are gone.
like they buffed up the axe dudes, but then they got evoed down and eventually mopped up by air elementals and birds. And the mages ultimately didn't do a whole lot on the Eriu side, whereas the Caelum mages absolutely, stars of the show with the air elementals and the thunder strikes.
Yeah, and these crossmen are pretty good too, but yeah, let's look at the battle report there real quick. I want to see, do these crossmen do anything great, or was it mostly the air elementals doing the job? Let's see. Here we go.
They killed 24.
Decent kills out of
probably a couple of those are their own bards.
Yeah, so they've got 168 deaths and only a total of 70, 80 kills here. So definitely a lot of kills going to the.
Yeah, and take a look at the mages. I mean, Caelum lost none of their air mages, which is
yeah.
I'm surprised. All they lost was one thug with like some mediocre gear that they probably picked back up, and Eriu lost not a catastrophic amount of mages, but a fair chunk of them and a lot of golden troops.
Yeah. Eriu didn't bring a ton of mages here. I would like to see more.
Yeah, and I didn't like the Eriu sort of. I mean, we'll see later, but they peeled off the bramble spirits and thistle spirits and took a different province, and they peeled off all those thug mages and went to a different province. If Eriu had just put it all in one pile and shoved it, they would have easily won this fight, I think. Well, maybe not easily, but they could have won this fight.
Yeah, Thistle Spirits would have absolutely...
and look in the lake. All the Thistle Spirits are in this lake, although you can't see it.
Oh, here they are.
Like, that would have 12 Thistle Spirits, 11 Bramble Wilds. Those would have been really big. They're magic weapons. They flatten the air elementals.
Yeah, absolutely.
They kill birds.
It's a damn shame.
I don't know. I don't. It'll be curious to see where they go from here, because I think Caelum's got a lot of initiative following this victory, and Indies have taken Eriu.
God, Knights are so good.
That's
Knights
unfortunate.
So good. Look at this.
Really makes you think. Like, you never see players use them.
Well, very rarely can you actually recruit them, but I always get them when I can.
Nice. I mean, I guess we have the Unicorn Knights from Man, and they did work from what we saw. We haven't really seen them in action yet, but they looked good.
It's very difficult to get heavy cavalry and knights just because of how many resources it costs. But I recruit heavy cavalry in Indies sometimes. Totally. Right. So up here, Pytheme is sitting on this Arco fort. Arco is sitting ready to go in on them. I think we'll have to see what this clash has. I would say that Pytheme is probably liable to just spam a bunch of angels, and who knows what Arco's going to do.
Now, I just want to point out, so it looks like Arco is going to probably move that army into Pythium, and then the mages are also going to move into the province. Pythium has the obvious move for Pythium is to storm the fort, but Pythium could throw some gunk in the works because Arco was sort of greedy and didn't move, had the mages spend a turn researching instead of moving forward. If Pythium's army moved into Arco's army, because it's twice as big, the battle will probably happen, in the army province, and the mages will just show up, totally unsupported and could be killed by sort of a strategic force left behind. Also, if Pythium had chosen that Peacock Angel at the start instead of a sort of worthless imprisoned rainbow human, they could Cloud Trapeze the Angel onto that pile of Arco troops, kill them all, and the mages would move in unsupported and get wrecked, and that would, if not countered, it could win the war sort of single-handedly.
But I think that a high MR, like regenerating, very like Vine Shield regen, high MR Harbinger teleporting into this province would either kill it or not kill it, but it would at least burn all the gems, and it might actually be able to stop this.
Well, it doesn't look like there are so many mages in that stack. I mean, hopefully,
yeah.
I mean, to give Arco credit, maybe there's like 3 Soul Slay casters in there, which would really put a damper on my proposed airdrop strategy. If Pythium did have a decent, like a strong SC Harbinger build that could survive War Elephants, then yeah. I don't know, can they get to size 6 in any achievable way? No. Okay, then it ends poorly at the end of a War Elephant.
I mean, maybe. You're probably right. And I think it's we're going to see the... I really would like to look at these War Elephants, see how they do.
I'd like to see Pythium. Yeah, I'd like to see Pythium just shove into Arco here. I think that has a good chance of working.
I agree. No, I think unless Arco, it's an elaborate bait, and they're going to move all these mages here.
But that's not even like, what do? You PD dump maybe, and that's the only advantage Arco's got from just fighting on the fort, and they're risking not having the fort get stormed. Like I don't see Arco doing that.
I'd like to see a Harbinger jump and then a motion.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Sure you're fighting without mages.
That would be really good.
Even a sacrificial Harbinger to burn gems would be fine. All right, what else we got here? We got this war. We got
War, now that I think about it, Pythium could be dropping Harbingers in, and there's no real opportunity yet because there aren't mages in the field. But he could drop a 4-item Harbinger in on cast 2 buffs and then retreat and burn some gems.
Every battle.
Assuming he doesn't get turn 1 Soul Slayed.
Yeah, but he's gonna have clearly Pythium knows the benefit of having 26 MRs in their Harbinger.
Yeah.
You usually need to have 26 MR and also some items that actually do things. You can get good MR and also items. Yeah. Harbingers are base 18 MR.
Yeah, I'd be willing to risk a Harbinger and a few items to a random as long as it's not mass Soul Slay. Like at 26 MR, you can take a couple and feel pretty safe before you retreat.
Yeah. And also we've got man has not gone in yet, but there's this massive man army just ready to go on Arco, right? I think they're still at war.
Nominally at war, but Tartary has taken an Arco province before man was, so he was really at war.
Yeah.
I mean, that province was sort of formerly Ulm's, given to Arco. Tartary has sort of taken back its rightful spoils of war.
Yeah. Yeah, and now Tartary is sitting on his Ulm fort still. But Ermor has moved their stack off, but has left their army here.
Yeah. May have been a misplay or a sort of deliberate sabotage. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what is Ermor doing here. Ermor needs Ulm very much alive. What are they?
Yeah, why is the stack not moving to Tartary's cap?
Yeah, this stack could absolutely, as I said before, especially now that they have Blood Vengeance. If they had marched their stack this way and then. When we said they should have, and they would now have Blood Vengeance and be on Tartary's.
They'd have 1,500 units, including 150 Sacreds, pushing on the cap. Tartary probably could not stop it.
Inexcusable that Tartary is still.
Yeah, and speaking of gem burning earlier, it's kind of crazy that Ulm hasn't been popping out every turn and gem burning all the air elementals off Tartary. I hope we see that this turn because we're pretty confident the Tartary is going to storm that fort.
By the way, have you noticed the size of Ulm after they've given away all their land?
This is it. They're getting a lot smaller. If you look at that income graph, they are they're officially a third world nation at this point, I think.
Yeah, let's take a look at this these graphs again. So Pythium sitting on top, Ind in second. Eriu
This
actually
is
in third, not
provinces,
bad.
not income.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay.
We're going.
All
Sorry,
right.
we're gonna go through them all. We got into the top of forts. We got Pythium really at the top of income. Somehow Eriu maintaining its gem income, but the two astral powerhouses are not far behind. Of course, we still have
Big
Arco
Arco
research.
lead. You have to wonder, is that Evo 7? I mean, it might
Maybe.
It's
This
on
is a
the edge.
Jamadon approved. I think this is a Jamadon approved research graph. Pythiums.
Yeah, I like to see that flat line. That means, the nation's getting out
Empty.
there and getting ready to kill things.
Jamadon wants you to empty your labs.
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's see. What else we got here? Anything happening on the Ind front? Ind is still at peace. They haven't decided who to attack yet. I think maybe they ended their NAP with
Pythium,
right? Yeah. But they're still not. They've got all their lions in their heartlands. Still not really doing. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, how could we forget?
Yeah, we've been telling these guys to take the throne of war. They've taken their best men. They've got some very experienced guys. Good stats. Good. They've got
not great stats because they're
Arthans
underwater. But
look, it's fine. Oh, okay. We've got some water strike going on.
ow.
Yeah, it looks like, the stats, however, of the Ind Sacreds are going to prevail, and their superior 16.
More like the morale to keep fighting as,
Yes.
the two men in your square die next to you.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The Throne of War.
And they only, so
They only lost.
lose what you have to get a throne.
Pretty silly stuff. Now, if only had an H3 here. But maybe this commander is no. I couldn't imagine. They'll get an H3 here because they really want that next Throne of War. It'll be good to allow their sacreds to actually hit things for a change instead of just swing. All right, yeah. We
tune in next time for very likely the first major Tartary Ulm battle.
Oh, we want to see it. Yeah, I don't think we missed anything. Be good.